Hi, Viola Rose here, and I'm coming on to make a deep dive video to talk all about linen. What's up? What is this buzz about linen? Why linen? Why do I only wear linen? And what's the linen study? And how do you even find linen and know how to look for it and the different types of linen? And I've got so much to share. And so I thought it's long overdue. I've been exclusively wearing linen for about 2 years now, and I have a lot to share. So this is going to be really fun for me to share this with you. So, how did this start for me? Well, I was going through menopause and having hot flashes. And so I was looking up natural ways to help mitigate my hot flashes because I don't do anything synthetic. I don't use any synthetic things in my body. So I wasn't going to do like hormone replacement or anything. So looking up natural things, I found one suggestion that said sleep with linen sheets will help alleviate your hot flashes at night because linen is a thermoregulator. It actually helps regulate body temperature. So this was really interesting to me. So I looked up linen sheets and found out they're like $200 to $300 for a set of linen sheets. Like linen is not inexpensive at all. And so I kind of toyed with it a little while and um, and did decided to do more research on linen. And then I had heard something somewhere about a linen study, about linen being a holy fabric. So I went digging into the internet, and sure enough, I did find the linen study. Now, this was a study that was conducted in 2003 by a Jewish doctor named Heidi Yellen, and she was reading in the Bible about linen. It kept coming up in the Bible that linen is the holy fabric and that the saints are in their white linen robes. And there's even a quote I have here from Revelations that says, "She should be arrayed in fine linen, for fine linen is the righteousness of saints." So she was seeing all this stuff. And then also this interesting stuff about linen and wool, that you should wear linen and you can wear wool, but don't wear them together because they will actually have a negative effect. So she was so curious about this that she tried to figure out a way, how can I test the vibration of fabrics? So she came across a guy who had created a technology that is used in agriculture to test the vitality of plants. How can you test if a plant is healthy or if it's ready to harvest? Because it's putting off a certain amount of electric energy and life force energy. So she took this plant with this fellow who used it, and they studied the fabrics, all the different fabrics. First thing that they did was test the human body, and that they found that on this, with this technology, that the human body reads at a 90 to 100 on average. That's just the number that came up. So then they tested cotton to see, well, what does cotton register at? Well, regular cotton that most of us wear that has been grown with pesticides and it has been bleached and dyed, that registers at about 70. So a little less, even if you're wearing cotton and you think I'm wearing natural fibers, it's less than your body, which is 90 to 100, right? So it's going to be just a little bit depleting on your energy. It's not adding life force to you. It's not really taking much away either. However, when they tested unbleached organic cotton clothing fabric, it tested at 100. So that's actually neutral to wear to the body. So then they also tested rayon and silk also test at about 10 to 15. So these are low vibrational fabrics. And some people think rayon is a natural fabric because it comes from trees. It's true that it is pulp from trees that makes rayon, and bamboo also. She didn't test for bamboo because this was 2003 and bamboo wasn't popular at the time. So I would put bamboo and tencel and rayon all in the same category here. And the way that they are produced, though, even though they come from trees, is they have to go through a very chemicalized process to be turned into fabric, where it's turned into a pulp and then made into fabric. So this is exactly also what silk goes through to become fabric. And silk tested at 10. It tasted very low. And some people think silk is also really high vibrational. However, it comes from insects and it goes through a very intensive process to be made into a fabric. So it also tested really low. So then She tested the synthetics. We've got polyester, acrylic, spandex, lycra, viscose, nylon. These are all plastic fabrics. They take plastic and they make it fluffy and they turn it into fabric, and they all test at zero. So they are incredibly depleting for your body to be putting them on. I gave up wearing synthetics years and years ago, after Dr. Brian Clement came out with a book called Killer Clothes, which talks all about the stuff with fabrics, but he didn't necessarily have the insight about linen at the time. But I gave up all my synthetics and I started mostly just wearing cotton. So really interesting. And now linen and pure wool registered at 5,000 on the scale. So off the charts, totally different than all the other fabrics. And she's like, oh, that's why, this is the holy fabric, the noble fabric. Now, linen and wool, both super high vibrational. Now, I'm a vegan. I don't use any animal products in my life that have been taken unconsensually from animals. So I don't wear any wool. And so for me, I just kind of left that, even though wool is super high vibrational, I don't wear it. And so I didn't do any further research with it. But just know that if you do wear wool, it's also very, very high vibrational as well at 5,000, just like linen. However, when she tested both the linen and the wool together, they canceled each other out to zero. And this is what the Bible was saying was don't wear them both together. And what she came to find is that the spin of the energy goes in one direction for wool and the other direction for linen. And so that negates and cancels each other out. And so it's just as depleting as wearing synthetics. If pretty much if you wear wool, like a wool shirt and linen pants, or wear wool pajamas, but then get in linen sheets. So there's the details on the linen study. Okay, so here's something else that's really interesting about linen, and that is linen is made from flax. The flax plant, flax seeds are from the flax plant, and flax is like a tall grass that is made into fabric. So they take if you ever watch the video of how they traditionally would make linen fabric, they would take the flax stalk and they would pound it and make it into this long kind of thread that they would then weave, which is one of the reasons why it's very strong, because it's like a single long piece of grass type thread, whereas there's other fabrics that are turned into pulp and made into fabric are weaker, and even cotton has to be sort of wound and wool wound together from small pieces. And so, because it is made from the flax plant, a lot of people think linen is cotton. We don't have any education on this because we hear like a linen closet or get out the linens. But really, in the past, they would be linen tablecloths and linen napkins because that was the noble, holy fabric for high vibration while you're eating. All right, so because linen is made from flax, we can process it. We can digest it. We eat flax. We can digest it easily. It is like a food for us. It is bioavailable to us. And so we resonate with it in a different way because it's something we can assimilate. That is actually very cool. Okay, so there's a couple things that I want to read you now. Let me find that. Okay, this is some other stuff about the physical properties of flax. Flax fabric is an excellent filter, protecting against chemical exposure, noise, and dust. Linen clothing reduces solar gamma radiation by almost half, thereby protecting humans wearing linen. Flax fiber retrieved from contaminated soil appears to be totally resistant to harmful radiation. So that's how they know that it's resistant to radiation, because they exposed some soil, to the radiation, and that didn't get absorbed into the flax plant. So they say that linen underwear heightens positive emotions as well as possessing rare bacteriological properties. It's resistant to fungus and bacteria, and flax is found to be an effective barrier to some diseases. Wearing linen clothes also helps to decrease some skin diseases like rashes or eczema, and it absorbs and gives up moisture. So you can add like 20% water to it and it'll just absorb it. So this explains why linen clothing always feels fresh and cool. It's hypoallergenic, so it doesn't cause any allergic reactions. And it's effective with dealing with inflammatory conditions, reducing fever, and providing a healthy air exchange. And so then in a conversation with one person, I have this. Linen comes from the flax stalk, same family as hemp. It is a dielectric, thus creating electromagnetic interference, meaning frequency manipulation, mind control, such as 5G, cannot penetrate through to to you, which targets individuals' nervous systems. So, boom, the armor of God, nothing gets in. We can program our Merkaba to do that, and and I do, but I like these extra added things as well, just as allies on the path. So the scientific details of the linen study, show that we vibrate at a really high rate. And I wanted to bring up the points about Raymond Rife and Rife technology. And so this quote here is interesting. In his work, Rife confirmed thousands of living vibrational frequencies. Like, this is not woo-woo to think that fabric would have vibrational frequencies. So many things do. He determined that the average frequency of a healthy body was between 62 and 72 hertz. And when the frequency drops below this average, it signifies a compromised immune system. So this was interesting as well. And so I just wanted to mention that because that is where we're talking about here. And so what they found out is that when you are wearing fabrics that register at a low vibration, you are like they found out that cancer vibrates low below 15. And like terminal illness is registering at about 15 on the scale. And also I'm going to pause this share. And then also at the a chronic illness will vibrate below 30. So if you're wearing these fabrics, you're like telling your body that the frequency is like it's like you're inviting illness into your body by matching the frequency, the lower frequency of these fabrics. Some things about linen is that it has an amazing and has less of an environmental impact than other fabrics because it's antifungal, it's anti-parasite, it's antibacteria. So it doesn't need to be grown with a lot of pesticides and it doesn't need chemicals to be grown. So it's very, very resilient. And because of that, linen is also what they would use in olden days in the hospitals. Linen sheets would help patients heal faster. People wouldn't get bed sores when they would sleep with linen sheets when they were bedridden because it's antibacterial, it's anti-parasitic. And so bandages that have been wrapped in linen, the old bandages used to be made out of linen as well. They heal faster because of this. And so it's also super durable, it's hypoallergenic, it's breathable, it's a thermoregulator. And on one study that I read, talking about the comparison in energy and translating it to hertz, that it actually vibrates at the frequency of rose oil, like pure rose essential oil, like that is the frequency of linen. And I love rose oil. So I just thought, no wonder why I'm so drawn to this. And so those are some notes I have. So now I want to talk to you about my journey and what happened with this. So I was convinced, I was hooked. I'm going to try some linen sheets, not rebuild my whole wardrobe. That sounds completely overwhelming, but I'm going to buy the linen sheets and see what happens. Even though they were like $200 to $300, I invested. I was super excited. I put them on my bed and I got into bed and I felt like I was actually wrapped in the arms of angels. Like, I'm not exaggerating or being poetic. Like, it really felt like that. And so I instantly became hooked and I was like, oh, I understand what's going on here. This is profound. And so I want to actually wear linen. I think I had like one or two linen items of clothing, nothing really. So I started hunting at the thrift stores and trying to find linen. And I'll talk about how to do that in a moment and how to notice like how linen looks different than other fabrics. And so I went through a period of a few months where I would just looked so dorky all the time because I was just wearing what I could find. And what I could find was just linen isn't stretchy. And so it doesn't tend to be form-fitting or that flattering. You can find some, but the stuff I was finding at the thrift stores was not. And a lot of a linen can be found. Here's a little pro tip. Like, if you are hunting for linen in the thrift stores, extra larges because it's a thermoregulator. When people are very overweight, they can overheat easily, and so they can be more apt to buy linen clothing. And so you can find it much easier in larger sizes in the thrift stores. So I was finding like all this like larger clothes, and I would be this like on my sewing machine, mending and hemming and making small dresses out of big shirts, and just having fun with discovering linen and finding my way. And so eventually I found a website called ThreadUp, and it's easy to search on there for linen. And so I started to get linen from there. And actually, I have a coupon. They told me if I refer someone, you can have like 45% off your first order and free shipping. I haven't used that much, but I'm going to post that in the comments so that you can, if you want to check that out. I pretty much get most of my linen from there now because the prices are so much better. Linen, I think I've bought one brand new linen thing ever just to treat myself, but everything I have has come from thrift stores and eBay or online. And even a couple of yard sales, I've actually found some linen stuff. And a linen dress can be like $300. So it's it's a very exclusively like high noble fabric. So it's been really fun rebuilding my linen wardrobe because once I started, what I found was I couldn't go back. I put on um, like a cotton dress and I felt like I couldn't breathe in it and it didn't feel as high vibrational. And I still have some other clothes because I have costumes. I love to play dress up. And so I make exceptions for costumes. Or I did keep a small amount of other clothes that is just special to me, that I will occasionally wear. And I have not found a good substitute for yoga pants yet. So, I mean, actually wear linen socks and linen hats now, but yoga pants, I just haven't found anything that can duplicate that. So in the winter, I often still wear yoga pants, and then everything else is just linen. And coats, I do have some linen jackets, but in the winter, as long as the layer that's against my skin is linen, I feel like I'm in contact with it. And if I find a dress and I really like it and it's linen, but it's got a synthetic lining, which actually a lot of them do, I'll either cut it out or I won't buy it because I don't want the synthetic against my skin. I want the linen against my skin. So it's been a really fun journey. And even my husband has some linen that I have picked up at thrift stores here and there for him. He doesn't have much, but just enough that when he wants to get in the super high vibe, he'll put on his linen as well. So let's talk about linen fabrics. So most people think of linen and they think of this. Here's like an orange linen dress I have, and I'm going to hold it close to the camera. This is what we often think about linen. It's crunchy, it's wrinkly, it's stiff, and very, very breathable. And so this is what most people think of as linen, and it is linen. But linen can be made into fabrics in many different ways. Just like cotton can make denim jeans and canvas, but it can also make a jersey t-shirt. So linen can also be processed into journey, and this is into jersey. And this is something most people actually have no idea about. This is actually 100% linen tank top, and it looks like cotton, and it's like kind of stretchy. It's just if once you start to see it and you held this next to like a cotton jersey, you would see that it's just a little bit tougher, a little bit of a wider weave. And so if you're hunting in the thrift stores, you can just kind of go down the aisle and I'll just take my finger and go down looking for the fabric, looking for the fabric. And then if I see something that looks, oh, maybe that could be, then I'll look at the I call it the ingredient tag, but that's not it. But you know what I mean, inside the shirt. And I actually carry a pair of 4.0 readers with me when I go to the stores because I can't even read the tags usually with my normal readers. And so that is another type of linen. So this is also 100% linen. Look at this. This is like a kind of a stretchy sweater, and it's got fancy weaves. And unless you knew, you wouldn't even think that that would be like a linen sweater because most people are just thinking about this or this as being linen. And then here's also another item that is 100% linen, and it's a jacket, but it looks like it's got these little weaves and it's actually kind of soft and it's not as wrinkly as some of this tougher stuff. This is the kind of linen that sheets are made out of. Nobody's really making linen jersey sheets yet. Linen jersey tends to be a little bit fragile. It's not as like tough and durable as this type of linen, so I can't imagine somebody would make linen sheets out of it. So those are the different kinds of linen. So be on the lookout and know that it can come in many different ways. And if you start wearing it, there's a possibility that you'll never want to go back. And eventually, you don't have to just recreate your wardrobe overnight, but just keep your eyes out at the yard sales, at the thrift stores, and get things when you can and alter them. And eventually, you'll just be drawn to wearing that because, like I said, it's really hard for me at this point to wear anything less than that. And there's also some other stuff I want to share about linen. And this is because it's anti-static and it also blocks gamma radiation from the sun. And so that's why they'll put like sometimes 15% linen in some fabrics that are mostly synthetic so that it doesn't have static and the static cling that can come from synthetic fabrics. So it's completely anti-static and it blocks radiation from the sun. It also blocks like EMFs and frequency like that. Like it is the holy fabric. And so sleeping in sheets, it's like to me, it feels like the armor of God. And it's almost like it can't absorb the negative energies and the bandwidths and the weird stuff that goes on in this matrix realm. And so I feel like really like this is a piece that's important for me, and it helps keep my vibration clean and clear and not absorbing negative frequencies and the static that's out there constantly trying to infiltrate our sovereign field, right? So something to consider and something to really think about as you are continually trying to upgrade. Like my whole life is just trying to upgrade my life to be the highest vibration vessel that I can be here on the earth so that I'm just vibrating high and that's my gift to give. So I'm always looking for new ways of doing that. So this may be something that is easy to incorporate and inspiring. So much love to you. Keep vibing higher. Next video I'll make will be about why I'm never cutting my hair again and turning on my cosmic antennas and how when you let your hair grow out to its full length, something magic happens. So I'll look forward to that. Okay, much love to you. Bye.